meeting for the 21st of November, and be coming up on Thanksgiving week, and I'd like to mention that I'm really thankful that all of you are attending this meeting, and hopefully we can make this next year something that is really thankful for, as we have just started our new Toastmasters year recently, and so on. So this evening we're going to have a full program. We've got all of our positions have been filled. For those of you that might not have kept up with it, the grammarian is now going, I'm going to be Toastmaster, the grammarian is going to be Mark. You know Mark, right? You've met Mark before, right? Okay, yes. And Maurice is going to be our first speaker. We have Justin going to be our second speaker. Cody is going to be our table topics master. Then Julius is going to be an evaluator. We do need one evaluator. Nolan was not able to make it this evening, so we need one other evaluator. Is there anyone who would like to take on that responsibility?
So Maurice is speaking first.
Maurice is speaking first. And you are going to evaluate Maurice, and I will evaluate Cody, or Justin. So I need your, oh, you don't have your book. I will, I'll do that. And then I can evaluate, I can be the evaluator on the second speech. Okay, so that's how we'll work that. Make that, get that away. Okay, and then Yuling's going to be our timer, and that will be our evening. So to get things started, I would like to introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker has been around for a couple of years now, and he is now, finally, after all the long, hard labors, he is finally able to come up and give his final speech in the Competent Communicator. And soon we will be pinning him, hopefully not painfully, with his Competent Communicator pin. I would like to introduce our first speaker for this evening, Maurice. He's going to do what inspires you from inspiring your audience.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, who inspires you? How do you draw inspiration? Whether it's from a person or whether it's from something intangible, who and how do you draw inspiration to meet a goal? In my speech, I will tell a little story about myself in my engineering career, and then I'll also tell a little story of what I experienced last week at a conference. So first, when I went to college to get my engineering degree, you take a whole series of classes, hopefully you pass them all, and then get your degree. As soon as I got my degree, I interviewed for several jobs. Several companies came to campus. And after being turned down on some jobs, I finally got a job and then started to go to work not long after. But when I got the job, I didn't have in mind specifically what I was passionate about. I just wanted to get a job in my field, start working, earn a paycheck, and then buy what I could buy with the amount of money that I've got through the job. It's funny because when you start at college, or before you start college, when you decide what you want to do, you have a certain idea of exactly what you want to do in that job. For example, you want to be a firefighter. You picture yourself, or you may picture yourself, running into a tall burning building, and you're going to go up there in the midst of all that fire and save somebody and then put out the fire. But in real life, it doesn't happen exactly the way you picture it. And the same for my engineering career. When I was real little, when I first thought about being an engineer, I thought about designing cars, going to Detroit, design the next great car, or pieces of the next great car. But in reality, after you go through your education and you do your job interviews, the types of jobs that are available may not fit exactly what you desire to do. So there's a difference between having a passion for what you want to do in life, or just selecting something so you can get by for so many years. Hopefully, you'll slowly get to where you really want to go. Well, as soon as I got my first engineering job, I had the old school mindset that, well, I'll be here for 30 or 40 years, get everything I need with the money that I get, and then retire and enjoy the rest of my life. But that dream was dashed in less than a year and a half. I got laid off in about 16 months. And I was laid off for about 5 months, and then I got another engineering job, and I think I only lasted 8 months on that job. And the cycle continued until I got my last engineering job, and I fell into that same mindset. Well, I'm just existing there, performing some task, going home, getting a paycheck at the end of the week, and don't feel any passion, for the job that I am performing. So about approaching 2.5 years ago, I finally decided to quit the job. Didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, but I had a passion to not be at that job for much longer, if not a passion to do something specific. So I am still in the process of finding that passion, but I believe I'm getting closer and closer to fulfilling that passion. So in conclusion, if there's something that you desire to do, you have to do, it has to come from the heart. Even though you have to study what you want to do, depending on what you want to do, it needs to come from the heart. Because if it doesn't come from the heart, you're just existing. So who inspires you? What inspires you? Mr. Toastmaster. That was 8 minutes. That was 8 minutes at the green light instead of.
Oh,
Yeah, because she.
yeah, it's 8 to 10 minutes each, right?
I mean, I'll continue. I'll continue if you.
5 to 7.
Huh?
Yeah, that
Was that too short then, huh?
Yeah, it was.
5 to 7.
Okay, yeah.
5 to 7?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, bring it back for an encore.
Okay, yeah, because I was. No problem.
Okay, 8 to 10, and then this one's gonna be 4 to 6.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, I'll give you a chance to reset
Okay, so.
whatever the time was.
It's still at 5:30, okay,
No, there's
so,
6. 6.
okay, so,
Okay, go.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters. I went to a conference last week in Atlanta, and it's called the SAME National Conference. SAME stands for Society of American Military Engineers, and there were a whole bunch of companies represented looking to team up with another company. There was a speaker there from South Africa. His name was Michael Jackson, and his website is theothermichaeljackson.com. But anyway, he had a speech titled The Challenge of Change. And as you all know, change is hard. But one of the things that inspired me to a certain extent was that he displayed a triangle. And it's a triangle used by psychologists. And there were 5 steps to that triangle. The first step to the triangle was called incompetent, unconscious incompetence. That means you don't know what you don't know. And an example that he used was a person learning how to drive. If you give that person the keys to drive that car, he can't do it because he doesn't know to put the key in the car, start it up, put it into gear. So that's unconscious incompetence. The next step is called conscious incompetence. Now that this person has seen the car, the parts of the car that needs to be operated, he knows that these things need to be operated, but he still doesn't know how to drive. So that's conscious incompetence, which means he knows what he doesn't know. And the next step is called conscious competence. That means he's learning to drive. He knows how to stick the key in the ignition, turn the car on, put it into gear, and drive. But he knows how to drive, but he doesn't know how to drive competently. So that brings us to the next step, which is called unconscious competence. That means he's been practicing time after time, where now it becomes second nature to him. He doesn't have to think about what he's doing. He just gets in there, turns the car on, and drives. So that's unconscious competence. And then the top of the triangle is called excellence. So that can be a tool to help someone to reach a goal, to inspire them to reach a goal. Mr. Toastmaster.
okay, very good, very good. Yes, so let us all strive for competence and excellence in our endeavors, and then we can be inspired to continuously move forward. And speaking of moving forward, I'd like to introduce our second speaker. Our second speaker is fairly new to our club, and he is just now getting an opportunity to introduce himself to us. And so I'd like to welcome Justin Gish to come forward and give us his icebreaker speech. Justin.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Hello, everybody. My name is Justin Gish. I'd like to tell you about one of my favorite topics, and that's myself. Fortunately for you all, I have to keep this speech to about 5 minutes. My parents and grandparents were all from Louisville, Kentucky. I was born there in 1974. I've got one younger sister, Molly. She's a year and a half younger than I am. We're very close. My father was a district manager for a small toy store chain when I was growing up, and we relocated to the Mississippi Gulf Coast when I was about 4 years old for him to move to that job to be closer to where his stores were. I spent a lot of time traveling around with him to the different stores when I was a child. It was a good experience. Being a kid of a guy who managed toy store chains, I probably had a few too many toys, so that was great. I grew up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. It's a small town. It was a good place to grow up. I was a good kid and a decent student. Growing up, I spent a lot of time sailing and windsurfing on Biloxi Bay there, right off of Ocean Springs. I went through the whole school system in Ocean Springs, went to high school there, go Greyhounds, and I attended the University of South Alabama for college. I studied mechanical engineering. Engineering was very challenging. You were talking about that earlier. I started slowly initially. I didn't have the discipline to do very well. I was perhaps a little arrogant from being a strong student in high school. And it took me a while to buckle down and learn the discipline and to do well in engineering school. I didn't get there until my 3rd year. There were a lot of late nights. It was a lot of hard work. But I did graduate and do well. While I was in college, I also spent some time co-oping for a company here in Mobile called Taylor Wharton. So I was fortunate to graduate out of South in a good economy and go right into work, and I was fortunate to be hired by Taylor Wharton as a project engineer. And I did that job for about 8 years, and after 8 years of engineering, you have the things kind of wired, you get a little restless, you're looking for something new. I was looking for a new opportunity, so I decided to pursue an MBA and go to the University of South Alabama for that. So I was doing that at night and working full time, and that was manageable initially. I was taking undergrad classes, and it was a manageable workload. I was then promoted within the company to become a product manager rather than engineer, which is a very different role. Product management is more of a sales and marketing job, so I had to learn a whole new skill set. I'm interacting with a very different group of people, salespeople and customers. So it was a real challenging transition. And I'm traveling at the same time. So I'm spending a lot of time traveling, still trying to pursue graduate level business courses in the evenings. And something had to break. That wasn't going to work. So unfortunately, I ended up quitting the MBA program in order to have some sort of a life besides just work, sleep, and school. I stayed with Taylor Wharton for 20 years, and recently it was time to move on. So I've begun working for Hargrove here in Mobile. With Hargrove, I'm a project manager rather than a product manager. So there are some changes there. There's some similarities and overlap with what I've been doing before, but I've had a lot of new things to learn. Hargrove's a consulting company, so you have to satisfy a client. Your interactions with a client are different than they are in a manufacturing company. And also I'm supporting Chevron in their refining operation in Pascagoula. So I hadn't done any refining in my previous career. So I've had to learn refining from zero as a project manager, which is a little intimidating, especially interacting with the Chevron folks in the beginning. But I'm 7 months into the job now, and I've had a rough time the first 3 or 4 months adjusting, but I've learned the basics. I'm doing well with Hargrove now. I'm much more confident in the job. For hobbies, sailing is one of my favorite sports. I've been doing that since I was a young kid. I'm a member of Mobile Yacht Club. On Thursday evenings over the summer, we have a casual sailboat race series. I've been involved with that for several years now. It's a great way to spend a Thursday evening and get out in the water and watch the sunset and do some sailing, very low key. When it's windy enough, I enjoy windsurfing. I've been doing that since I was a teenager. I sail in Biloxi Bay, Mobile Bay, or over into Pensacola, just depending on the weather. Windsurfing's fun in light wind. We have a lot of light wind here, but I really like it on the windy days, like Saturday when it's 20 knots or more. Unfortunately, that's usually with a cold front. It's pretty cold out there. You're head to toe in neoprene, a little difficult to walk around. But it's a great sport. It's a lot of fun. Shrinking sport, not so many people entering it now, but I still love it. Another hobby I'm interested in, 10 years ago, I was in Arizona for a trade show. Tom, a friend I met through work, took me for a glider ride. He's a pilot, and we rented a sailplane and flew for a couple of hours. Tom let me fly the glider and thermal the glider, and I was absolutely hooked. So I was fortunate there was a club near me in Pensacola. I joined that club and pursued flight training. Soaring's really challenging. It's a lot like sailing in a lot of ways. You've got to find the energy in the atmosphere and extract it, work it to climb or fly distances. A lot of people don't realize that, but a sailplane can actually climb, and a thermal, it can go up. It's not just gliding down. The club's great, coastal soaring here. It's in Baldwin County. We've got a beautiful field. I'm treasurer of that club, and I've been doing that for the last 2 years. I'm also sharing a single place ship we call gliders ships with 3 other club members. There's a lot to learn in the sport, and that's something I continue to work on and advance on, learning cross country, learning the thermal better. It's a lifetime learning experience with soaring. In closing, I recently joined Toastmasters. Public speaking and leadership are important skills in my career. Both are areas that I need to improve. I'm glad to have this opportunity to learn from you all and build my skills. I've enjoyed sharing a few things about myself with you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Well, thank you very much, Justin. That's quite interesting. I'm going to have to talk to you about getting involved in the sailing on Thursday nights. That would be something I might be interested in. I don't have a boat. I've never done any sailing, but I'm a merchant mariner by trade, so I would love to get out there and learn how to sail. It's one of my goals in life is to learn how to actually sail rather than drive a boat. But anyways, thank you very much for introducing yourself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the most exciting portion of our evening this evening. We get the opportunity to do spontaneous speaking. I'd like to introduce our table topic master. He's relatively new in our club, and I'm looking forward to hear how well he can bring us into these topics. Mr. Cody.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. So today, you are attending an interview to become a new member of the Avengers Superhero Squad. I'm going to give each one of you a superpower, and you have to talk about your superpower and why you should become the next member of the Avengers. So we'll start out with Lawrence. You have the ability of flight.
My fellow Toastmasters, the ability of flight. You know, there's one of those things that is a primal desire that many people have, to be able to go out and to just glide through the air with the greatest of ease. I am proud to say I have the ability to do that. Now, as an Avenger, I think that the ability to fly, the ability of flight would be a very valuable addition to that team. Because you always need someone to help to guide things and have an overall picture of things that are going on. And of course, what better bird's eye view could you have than someone who is in flight? So, my fellow Avengers, I do believe that I would make a wonderful addition to your crew. Mr. Toppers.
Okay, Mark, you will have X-ray vision.
All right.
X-ray vision is one of the most powerful skills that you can have. I can remember growing up and looking at the magazine advertisement for X-ray vision glasses. So you must be careful because X-ray vision can be used for good or evil. And that's what the glasses that were advertised, they were not for good. But I can assure you that I will only use my X-ray vision for good. And I'll be able to determine if there's a bad guy behind the wall and what kind of weapon they might have. And when I invent the bullet, they can go around corners, I'll be able to take them out single-handedly without putting myself at risk. So, I believe I can be a strong asset to the Avengers with my X-ray vision.
Ewing, you want to do one?
Yep.
Okay. Ewing, you will have this ability of super strength. Super strength. You can pick up cars or whatever you want to.
Super strength. I really want a super strength. Strength, right? And because every day I feel so tired. It's hard work. So I need more strength to make me after work can still do another things like my hobby. I would like to go to the gym to swim. I like exercise. I like to do some reading and watch TV. So the super strength make me can sleep not long, like 1 hour or 2 hours. I can have more time to do what I want to. But right now, every time I feel so tired, I just want to sleep while back home. Thank you.
You will have laser vision.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Having laser vision allows me to see into the future. And by being able to see into the future, I can tell us what's going to happen. We can become the guys who go a little step beyond X-ray vision, but we can see into the future. We don't necessarily have to have a lot of strength because we have wisdom now. We have the ability to see in the future, so we can make traps and do things in advance because we have the ability to see the future. And it looks great. Amazing. I can see it. And if you had me on the team, you can see it as well. Because I can see it. And do you want to know what I see? You got to take me on the team. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all want to do one since y'all spoke? Or?
Yeah, I'll do one.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Super speed.
Yeah.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Yes, if I had the power of super speed, I could beat Usain Bolt any day of the week, any time of the year. He won't be the gold medalist, I will be. And even in the marathons, even though it's not a speed sport, I mean, I could modify my speed a little bit to look like I'm jogging, but I could do it a little faster. And also, just like Superman, you can stop a criminal from killing someone before he does it. You know, if he shoots a gun at someone, I can run, and even though I don't have super strength, I can block the bullet. I just got to have the right tools in my hands to block the bullet. So there's a lot of good things I could do with super speed. Maybe I could propel myself out into space if I angle myself the right way, find the right mountain to run off of. I can propel myself into space. But yes, there's a lot that one could do with super speed. Topic master.
All right.
Sure. All right, Justin, you will have the ability to control the weather.
Fellow Avengers, I have the ability to control the weather. So there's many ways that I can use this to fight our enemies. I can have a hailstorm go on our opponents. I can send tornadoes after them. I can send hurricanes to their ships. I can send tornadoes to their airplanes. So there's many different ways I can use the weather against our opponents and against evil, and to fight for a better America for the Avengers. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for contributing to the table topics today. I will hand the lecture back over to the Toastmasters.
Thank you.
All right, for the next portion of our educational part of our meeting, we are going to have our evaluations. The evaluations are a very good part of the meeting because, of course, if we want to become better speakers, it's always good to know where we can improve. And that gives us conscious competence, because then we know what we need to learn, so we're able to learn it. And so, I would like to introduce a long-standing member of our club as General Evaluator, Mr. Julius Armstrong.
I'm Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Job as evaluators to evaluate the meeting. The meeting started a minute behind time. All roles were filled. We did not have a word of the day. Okay. We had two speeches, two good speeches, two informative speeches, good table topics. And my job is to evaluate the first speaker. First speaker was Maurice. Maurice's title was, "What inspires you?" Some of the areas to be evaluated are, did the speaker understand and express the feelings and needs of the audience? I said satisfactory. Was the speaker forceful, confident, and positive? I said satisfactory. Then we move into an area and say, what could the speaker have done differently to make the speech more effective? I said the speaker could have told us what inspires him. He talked about, he gave us a story about how you started, but you never did really get into what inspired you, or how we could be inspired by some of the things that inspired you. But what did you like about the speech? I like the story that you told about the triangle. The guy, you seemed to be energized by it, you inspired by that, and the things that he said that you want to become conscious and competent, and that will help you become a more fulfilled person. But again, I look forward to hearing from you again on your next speech, Maurice. And our next evaluator will be Lawrence, and he will be evaluating Justin's speech.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Justin did his icebreaker. As you know, the icebreaker is the first presentation that we get to give to our Toastmasters Club. So oftentimes we expect the icebreaker to be a not really all that good speech. But this time it was not quite like that. This time I thought that he did very well. It asked what are one of the strong points. He speaks very clearly. Justin speaks very clearly. He's able to present his ideas in a way that is understandable. And I think that's a very strong point that he can continue to work on and improve, but it's a really strong place to start. Did the audience get to know him? Yes. Was he well prepared? I think so. I think he went through and looked at the things that he really wanted to present and presented them. And did he use notes? I think he did use notes a little bit, but I don't think that he wasn't spending his time looking at his notes to make sure that he got them done. So again, that's a good thing. But did he have a good body, an opening, a body, and a conclusion? I think that his opening could have been better, his conclusion could have been better, but he did very well in the body. Those are things that we kind of learn as we go along. Kind of introduced himself as, well, I'm going to introduce myself. And it's kind of a weak opening to say, oh yeah, well, I'm here and I'm going to talk to you. Well, yeah, we know that. Okay, but otherwise it was good. What did I like about it? I think that Justin is very personable in his approach. The way he speaks, it makes us feel like, I think that it makes us feel like he's speaking to each one of us individually, even though he's speaking to a group. Again, I think that's part of his speaking clearly and going forward. So that's what I like about Justin's speech. I'm looking forward to continued hearing his speeches.
All right, thank you. Now what I want to do at this point is I want to open this up to the other listeners of the speeches for your comments about the speeches. Does anybody have anything to say about Maurice's speech that would be beneficial to Maurice?
I'm going to talk to him during the grammarian report.
Okay, great. Anybody have anything to add to Justin's evaluation? I sense that Justin has a sense of humor. It was displayed in the way you were delivering your speech in a nice, friendly manner. Now, at this time, we will hear from our timer.
Today's speaker is Maurice. 10 minutes, 15 seconds. Justin, 6 minutes, 28 seconds. For the table topic, Lawrence and Mark the same, is 1 minute, 10 seconds. And I is 55. Julius?
Correct.
Yes.
It's 1 minute. Maurice, 1 minute 25 seconds. Justin, 30 minutes. Not 30 seconds. Sorry. It's a totally different.
Thank you, Ewing. And now we will hear from our grammarian.
First, we'll start with the ums and the ahs. And so, Maurice, you had 2 ums one okay, and 3 double clutches. You had an or, the, and a that. Oh. Facing the wrong way, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
And I want to make a statement. I don't believe that it's ever grammatically correct to say in conclusion.
Okay, I'll take that down.
Have a conclusion. Don't say in conclusion.
Okay.
And I think you don't want to use that phrase, and you want to have a strong conclusion so that everybody knows the conclusion. But Justin, same thing. You said in closing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's grammatically correct any way you look at it. So just have a good strong closing and close. Also, one of the things you want to work on is your uhs.
Yes.
Okay, I stopped counting. You had a few of them, a few more than you should. So just practice, and the club will try and help you with that by keeping track of how many times you say "oh." Lawrence, disappointed. Usually I can't catch you with this, but I got you with 3 uhs and then 3 double clutches at the end. Cody, my pet peeve. You handed the lectern over. We don't hand the lectern over. It stays put. We turn over control of the meeting or something like that. You enjoy us? I didn't catch anything.
Outstanding. Okay. Now that concludes our evaluation portion of the meeting. We will return control back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you. Okay, did we have, Mr. President, did we have a educational overview that we wanted to cover? Any kind of presentation on PMP or anything like that?
No, I don't have it.
No, nothing. All right. Well, then I believe that it's time that we relinquish the control of the meeting to our president, Mr. Morris.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters, at this time, we'll have an induction into Toastmasters, and this induction is for Cody. And I have an introduction ceremony guide, and I will go through that with Cody. It says, fellow Toastmasters, it is now our duty and privilege to induct Cody Broussard into the Hilltoppers Toastmasters Club. This is an important occasion both for these new members and for our club. These individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership skills, and we now have opportunity to help them learn, grow, and achieve. I will now call our new member forward and ask them to join me at the lectern. Please withhold your applause until the ceremony is completed.
Maurice, just a question before we get started.
Yes.
Was a vote taken?
We haven't been doing that lately. and
Okay.
We should probably be doing it
Yeah.
because one of the theories behind that is if you vote him in and something happens, you can vote him back out.
Oh, okay, okay.
If they just are joined,
Right.
there's no consequences, then
I mean, we talked about this a few months ago. I don't know what
we
we
never
did.
did anything about it. I was gonna bring it up again at the meeting tonight, actually.
Okay.
But
Well,
that's,
I'd like to move that we induct Cody.
Okay, a second.
Motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's carried. Okay. So I'll just read this small portion here, and then he'll be officially inducted. Cody Broussard, you are joining a worldwide organization that has helped nearly 3 million people to communicate more effectively. As members of the Hilltoppers Toastmasters Club, you will benefit from a proven program of self-development. You will become part of an outstanding group of people who are dedicated to helping one another in a spirit of sharing and enjoyment. Would the Toastmasters please stand? As experienced Toastmasters, you have been asked to help these new members get off to a good start. Do you accept this responsibility and pledge to share your knowledge and experience with our new member so that he can immediately begin to benefit from his Toastmasters membership?
I do.
Amen. Okay. So now, in the presence of our fellow Toastmasters, Cody Broussard, you are inducted to Hilltoppers Toastmasters. And don't have a pin tonight, but I guess with the next week or so, as soon as we get the pin, you'll get your pin.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Be seated. Okay, Vice President of Education, do you have an overview of what's taking place next week?
Next week. Now, as usual, I have not a whole lot of people who have signed up. Now, I've started doing a different thing, if you might have noticed, when I start a new meeting, what I normally will do now is immediately send out a email saying, okay, I want volunteers. As usual, I didn't get any volunteers, but hey, that's just the way it is. So,
Okay, I'll do the
but
evaluation.
No, you can't do evaluation. I already signed you up.
Oh,
Just speak.
okay, and then once I start getting those, I send out emails letting people know what they are going to be doing, and then I try to send out a second email reminding them. So next week, what I've done is that's going to be the week after the Monday after Thanksgiving. I've got Kedrick giving a speech. I've got how do I get Mark? I thought that I got Mark and Maurice, so 3 speakers down. But are you going to be able to give a speech?
Yes, that's what we just worked out.
So, that's because, that's right, because you're going to be doing a combination talk. Okay, good. Cody, you're going to be general evaluator. You could do that. Maurice, you were listed as an evaluator. I don't know if that might have to change now. And Cody was the second evaluator. The grammarian was going to be Justin. The table topics was going to be Steve. Tamby was going to be the timer, and Woody was going to be the Toastmaster. And we'll see if that still works out as the week comes up.
All right. Could you put me down for my second speech 2 weeks from today?
I will put you down for the next, okay, I will do that. We're going to do 2 weeks from today, which would be the next meeting, which would be December something, right? December 5th. Yeah.
Man, it's coming up quick.
Okay, and I will get that maybe this evening. You'll get an email asking you to volunteer for positions, but I'll get you hooked into there already. I'll do that.
Okay.
December 12th, you're going to do what? You're going to do your second speech?
Yeah, you need to just
Oh, okay.
Because it's the first time I'm not introduced myself.
You didn't introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
so,
Okay, okay. Did you get your books?
Mhm.
Okay. Everybody got their books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Well, Katie should be getting hers soon if she doesn't have them already.
yeah.
Okay, if there is nothing else, we will adjourn this meeting and we'll go into executive committee meeting. So if you don't want to, I guess those who are officers, you're dismissed if you.
If you choose. You're
If you
more
choose
than
to.
welcome to stay and take part in the meeting. So please don't feel like you have to leave, but if you want to, you are free to go.
I'm gonna go ahead
All right, Cody, good,
Thank you.
It's just not grammatically correct to say that. You want to just have a conclusion.
Thank you, guys.
you say like,
Yeah.
finally,
Final?
finally.